Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, October 25th. Hope you've all shaken off that betcast hangover. Ian Cameron with you. Unfortunately, my colleague Alex B. Smith has not shaken off that betcast hangover. He is not with us today, but he will be back tomorrow, ready to rock and roll on the Thursday show with the huge card coming up. Just a wonderful betcast night last night. The first ever Frozen Frenzy, 16 NHL games, staggered start times. I thought it was a smashing success. It was fun. It was exciting. I love the idea of, okay, these games are going on right now. Oh, we got another one starting in 15 minutes. Oh, we got another one starting in another 15 minutes. It was just a really, really cool experiment. And it seems like it was well received. It seems like ESPN production, the main network, and ESPN2, ESPN Plus that put on the actual Frenzy show, the Whip Around show with Buccigross and Kevin Weeks last night, that they all did a solid job and enjoyed the experience. Bettman, they interviewed him, the commissioner, during the night last night, and it seems like he was definitely giving it a thumbs up, positive reviews last night, the night overall. So my hope is that we get this again, and unfortunately, it's probably going to be next season, I would assume, because they've already made the entire schedule for this season, and there is no other night later on in the year where they've got staggered start times, unless they decide, you know what, this was so much fun, this was so well received, this was such a great, showcase for the National Hockey League that maybe later in the season we'll alter the schedule for one of these nights on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday and try the staggered start time experiment again. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping they can go back down the road later this season and look at the schedule and say, you know what, we want to do one of these Frozen Frenzy events again with the staggered start times. This Saturday, there's a lot, or the Saturday in, March or February after football season, we got like 13, 14 NHL games. How about we do staggered start times? We'll change it around. I don't think the teams are going to bitch about it. They were going to play that day anyway. You just set it up so that we've got staggered start times again. Maybe do this for a Saturday, like I said, in February or March, and run it back here with the Frozen Frenzy idea and the staggered start times. I think that would be awesome. I'm hoping they do that, but not a guarantee. Because like I said, they've already set the schedule for the entire season, so. It's up in the air whether they'll alter the schedule for one of those future dates this season to allow for this to happen again, or if we've got to wait till next season before we see this rolled out once again. But no doubt it was a lot of fun, no question. Great turnout in the chat, lots of live viewers. I mean, we definitely were well over 100 live viewers for the first half or so of the betcast last night. It was just a lot of fun. We had some big plus price winners again with the goal props. I'll get to that in just a moment. It was just a lot of fun. And it's really amazing how every betcast we've had, the one last year, 2 years ago, and now this year, it's pretty amazing how many great people we've got watching our shows and listening to the show on a daily basis. Great people, fun people. Everyone's in a good mood. There's no grumps. There's no Debbie Downers. There's no angry, people. Everyone is just, really good, laid back, easy to get along with, that kind of thing. And it's just a wonderful time every time we have a betcast. And it was a great first betcast last night. Keep in mind, we got many more of these to come. So if you missed out last night, you couldn't watch it, weren't able to join us on the betcast stream, we're going to have another betcast in November. We're going to have one each month, November, December, and January. And for our Family Plan YouTube channel members, you will receive bonus betcasts, one each month as well. So we're going to do the one free betcast, public betcast per month, November, December, January. We will also have a bonus Ice Guys betcast each month for our Family Plan members and subscribers. And for those bonus betcasts, you will only get to participate on the betcast with us if you're a family plan member, and you will only get to watch the betcast as well if you're a family plan member. So it's going to be like for that VIP club, if you will. One of the two betcasts in November, one of the two betcasts in December, and then one of the two in January. So we're definitely looking forward to two betcasts per month starting in November. One will be the usual publicly available to all, and the other will be that bonus betcast, which will be available to our Ice Guys family plan members. It's only $9.99 US per month to sign up with the family plan. And again, you're going to get that exclusive bonus content, Alex's goalie charts, my power ratings, which will be going out overnight tonight for this week. We've got obviously our daily betting card, sides and totals, and the player props. And as our guy John Massey was kidding around last night, for the player props that I post, it's almost like reading a novel. It's not going to take you 2 seconds to read them all, especially on a card like last night. Tonight might be a little bit different with just one game, but it's like you're reading a book sometimes with the amount of player props that I bet. So you'll get all that with the family plan. So make sure you check that out. We've already got over 60 members. The reception has been outstanding, and we definitely thank you for that. No question about that. All right, let's recap last night and the stuff that went on the ice. Of course, every team in action. It started with Toronto with a 4-1 win against Washington, where they really didn't play that good, but they were opportunistic. They capitalized on their chances, and Washington didn't. Toronto got great goaltending from Joseph Woll. He was absolutely outstanding. That's 2 games in a row. He's been great in between the pipes for Toronto. And look, sometimes when you don't have your best overall team game, the goalie's got to step up and kind of get it done for you. And Joe Woll did that. They like I said, Nylander, Matthews, they capitalized on their power plays, and Washington just can't put the puck in the net right now. The good news for them, I guess, the only bit of good news last night is Ovechkin finally got on the scoreboard. But man, this team is dead last in the NHL, averaging just 1.2 goals per game so far this season. So not a good game again for Washington, just a horrible start to the season for the Washington Capitals. And they lose 4-1 last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs. 8 hours, Major Tom. You're right with the betcast last night. So we went from start to finish. We were there when the puck dropped on the very first game here with the Leafs Capitals, and we were on right till the end of the Flyers and Golden Knights, the last game on the slate. So we were there from start to finish last night for Frozen Frenzy for sure. Damon Williams, we appreciate the dono. Appreciate it very much. Enjoyed the gang last night. Thanks. Very much appreciated. Thank you for that. Chrono Kenny, new member. We appreciate you joining us here on the Family Plan members page on the YouTube channel subscription. We appreciate that very much. So it's 4-1 Toronto last night with that. Buffalo 6-4 against Ottawa. Very impressive. Hard to make heads or tails of what the Sabres are doing right now. You would not expect them to play that badly Monday night at home against Montreal. And you would probably, after seeing that, not expect them to go into Ottawa and really take care of business against the Senators. Now, they almost blew it. They had a 5-1 lead. It got to 5-4. But the Sabres hung on 6-4 victory over the Ottawa Senators in that game. So it was a very solid victory overall for the Sabres, and much needed. And I kind of hinted at it too on the betcast. Maybe this team just needs to play on the road, get on the road, get away from home, come together a little bit as a team. And maybe that's going to be the cure that ails them through this. I wouldn't say a horrible start, but it's been an underwhelming start to the season for a Buffalo Sabres team that now has plenty of expectations now to be, a pretty good hockey team. So, we'll end up seeing now how that transpires going forward. But definitely when you look at the Buffalo Sabres, they are a team right now that I think when you investigate the way things are going for them right now, maybe this road trip's a good thing for them. And that was certainly a good start with them able to get the job done. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen didn't really keep the door shut, did he there? Real deal prime. But Buffalo gets the victory there. Tampa Bay 3-0 against Carolina. Carolina had very little zip, very little pop last night. Nothing really. It's almost like they were stuck in mud. I think it's an exhausted hockey team. They've played a lot on the road. And Tampa Bay, definitely a team that was coming to play after the loss to Toronto. Still, they got outshot. I mean, Tampa Bay did give up shots, and they got badly outplayed in the third period. But this is another game where Jonas Johansson, that's 2 really good games in a row for them. Even though they lost against Toronto, the only reason they had a chance to win that game was Johansson. Toronto outplayed Tampa, and 32 save shutout for Johansson last night. So let's give him credit, and Tampa wins 3-0. It was a better defensive game from the Carolina Hurricanes. They've been a brutal mess in their own end to start the year. It was better defensively, but unfortunately couldn't get anything going offensively. Shut out in that game against Tampa last night. New Jersey 5-2 against Montreal. Hat-trick for Tyler Toffoli, and the Devils take care of business there against the Canadiens. And of course, the Devils in action with the only game tonight against the Washington Capitals, which we'll get to in a moment. Dallas 4-1 win against Pittsburgh. That was Alex's best bet on the show. It was actually one of my favorite bets on the card last night as well. Dallas at a cheap price against Pittsburgh. Dallas can win the Stanley Cup. Dallas can win the West. How on earth they opened in that game at even money, -110 against Pittsburgh. I was stunned by it, and Alex was too, and that's why we both like Dallas. There is a gap between those two teams, and it wasn't reflected in that money line price. Pittsburgh's going to be life and death to make the playoffs. Okay, putting them in the same stratosphere with Dallas is absolutely absurd. So I was definitely surprised by where that price was last night, opening at even money. Finally, we saw some money during the day come in on Dallas because it closed at -125, but that's where it should have been. Actually, I think it could have been higher than that. Jake Ottinger, outstanding. 38 saves on 39 Pittsburgh shots. Just couldn't beat him. And look, that was the difference. Dallas can defend better than Pittsburgh can, and Dallas has better goaltending than Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh can score, although last night they didn't. But Dallas is the better defensive team. And I think Dallas, sometimes people sleep on their ability to score goals, and especially when you get Wyatt Johnston on the scoreboard. That was one of my goal props last night. Robertson gets the party started. Dodonov chipped in. It was a very solid road win there for the Dallas Stars, a team we like. And we mentioned it a couple of times last night. There's still great value for Jake Ottinger right now at 15-1, even 18-1 in some spots to win the Vezina Trophy. He is legitimately one of the best goalies in the NHL. He was last regular season too. Playoffs, he kind of slumped a bit, but his regular season was as good as anybody's. Florida 3-1 over San Jose. Pretty blah game. I mean, Florida kind of not impressive in victory, but sometimes you don't have to be impressive to beat a team like the San Jose Sharks, and Florida proved that last night. Colorado 7-4 over the Islanders. This is something to keep in mind now with the Islanders. We think of them as this great defensive team. We think of Ilya Sorokin as an outstanding goalie, one of the best in the NHL. And I'm not saying he isn't, but this is now 2 games where the Islanders have played someone with a team with a great deal of firepower. New Jersey on Friday night and Colorado last night, and they got lit up for 12 goals in those 2 games combined. So we got to reevaluate things a little bit. Are the Islanders going to be able to shut down the really good offensive teams? Are they going to be able to shut down the really good, hockey teams in the league, the elite teams? Because that's New Jersey and Colorado in their building now, 2 games in a row, lighting them up. 12 goals, 5 for Jersey on Friday night against the Islanders, and then the 7th spot last night for Colorado. So keep an eye on this. This is something I've definitely put in my, memory bank, if you will, that the next time I see the Islanders playing a really good hockey team, we fade them. And we probably look at a team total over for the other team. I mean, if they play someone that's really good and can put the puck in the net, that's going to be a problem potentially for this New York Islanders team. And 7-4 victory last night for Colorado against them. Seattle with a 5-4 victory over the Detroit Red Wings last night. I had the team total over. And you talk about a game that from a player prop standpoint was just a beauty of a game for me. I think in that game alone, how many goal props did I cash on that game alone? It was like 4 or 5, quite honestly, as far as the player props go. I think it was 4 because we had DeBrincat, we had Larkin for Detroit. The big one for Detroit was Joe Veleno at +600. We've been talking about Joe Veleno for many games now where he's this third-line player. Nobody pays attention to him. Nobody's betting Joe Veleno props because they're not paying attention to this nice little under-the-radar mini little sizzler hot streak that he's got going on. I think he's got goals now in 3 straight games for the Detroit Red Wings. So Joe Veleno plus 600. And of course, the bargain bin special of the night for me cashes in yesterday. Ty Cartier, Seattle, plus 600 to find the back of the net. It was a wonderful spot for a guy that's got finishing ability. This guy scored his first NHL goal for the Kraken last year in the playoffs against Colorado. And I think it was his first game as well. It was just a remarkable event that he was able to step up in the playoffs, pressure cooker, make his first NHL game in the postseason and score as well against Colorado. And there it was with Ty Cartier last night, up on the top line with Matty Beniers and Jordan Eberle. And he finds the back of the net for them last night and cashes that bargain bin special of the night from yesterday's show from yours truly at plus 600 in that game. So that was a great event for sure. And credit to Seattle. Seattle, played a pretty solid game overall. Joey Daccord, I thought, was pretty good in net. Now, I know he kind of gave up a couple of goals in the third period. I think one of them he might want back, but Joey Daccord gave them a chance, made the key saves once that game was 4-3 Detroit, allowed Seattle to tie the game late, and then they ended up winning it in overtime, courtesy of Jordan Eberle. Jared McCann tied it late in the Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere is another one that I ended up hitting, and I didn't include that on my Twitter, my X list of my biggest goal scorer props, but I forgot about Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere is right up there. That was plus 560, I believe, on him to score a goal. So that was another one. So we had Gostisbehere plus 560, Veleno plus 600, and Cartier plus 600 goal props from that one game. Absolutely incredible stuff. So that game, definitely very happy with what I saw. No question. Boston 3-0 against Chicago. So looks like Connor Bedard scores a power play goal, giving Chicago a 1-0 lead, but it turns out it's offside. The goal is disallowed, and it seemed like Chicago just didn't have that same, that took a lot out of them. It took a lot out of them because it didn't really seem the same after that. And credit to Boston. That was not a great scheduling spot. They'd been on the road a while. They were out on the West Coast. Now they're going to the Midwest. It's been a long trip. Now they're going to Chicago, and still they found a way to win. And here they are, the Boston Bruins. All the questions again for the second straight year entering the season, and here they are undefeated to begin the NHL season at 6-0. They've been a regular season. They've been absolutely magical in the regular season now, going back to obviously their record-setting season last year, and here they are 6-0 this year. So you do have to give Jim Montgomery credit. Now, you can say what you want. He didn't coach the best in the playoff series against Florida. Obviously, that was a dismal and disappointing showing and performance in that playoff round for Boston last year. But absolutely, they've been a great regular season team. Now, but this year, if they march out and have this great regular season, people are going to be more skeptical now going into the playoffs. Going into the playoffs last year, everyone loved Boston. Everyone thought, this team has just been so amazing. They're going to go to the Stanley Cup final. If they have a great regular season this year, before the playoffs start, there's going to be some more skepticism because of that flame out last year, being up 3-1 against Florida and losing in 7. So that's still going to be the question in the end. It's, if they go out there and have a great regular season, well done, credit to them, good on them, but people are going to judge them on playoff performance this year. That's just the way it is. But we're not there yet. We're a long way away from there yet. Right now, what we will say is that the Bruins have gotten off to a very good start once again in the regular season. And this is even maybe more impressive than last year because the heart of their center ice position, gutted by the retirement of Krejci and Bergeron, and yet here's Matt Patra stepping up and looking like he might be the second line center for the season. That guy ain't going down to junior now, not after what we've seen the last really all season, because he was playing well before the last 2 games, but now he's got goals in back-to-back games, 3 goals in the last 2 games for the Bruins. He ain't going anywhere. He is going to stay right here with the Bruins. I know that deadline for him to get sent down to junior is, I think it's coming up, but he's going to be here with Boston. They're not sending him down. I'd be shocked if that happens. Anaheim 3-2 win against Columbus. Solid road win for the Ducks last night. I've been impressed with Anaheim. I just find they're playing with better structure. Their defensive game's been a lot better, and obviously I like Greg Cronin a lot more than anything I saw at Dallas Eakins. So I like what I see from Anaheim. McTavish has played well for them so far this year. They haven't even gotten Troy Terry and Zegras going fully just yet, especially Zegras. And then Frank the Tank Vetrano scores the big overtime winner last night. He's been excellent for the Anaheim Ducks. Cashed another goal prop with him there with that OT winner for Anaheim. Winnipeg 4-2 against St. Louis. I liked Winnipeg. So did Alex. We mentioned it. I thought that team would play an inspired game with their head coach, Rick Bowness, away from the team, tending to his wife, Judy, who had the seizure over the weekend. And they stepped up. It was a really solid effort from Winnipeg. What wasn't solid, I'll tell you who didn't step up for Winnipeg. The people of Winnipeg. 11,000 people again at that game last night. Not good enough. Not good. Not what you want to see. In fact, it was even lower, the attendance last night in Winnipeg, than the previous home games last week against the Kings and the Golden Knights. This is not trending in a good direction for them. So this is something to monitor, but I know the economy is shit, especially in Canada. People are bitching left and right about the economy in this country in particular right now, no doubt. But you got to do better than 11,000 people in the building last night at Canada Life Center for the Winnipeg Jets. And it's troubling. It's troubling, absolutely. You know what's also troubling? The Edmonton Oilers right now. What a hideous defensive effort last night. And once that game got away from them, and to think they actually had a 3-2 lead going into the third period, outscored 5-1 in the third period by the Minnesota Wild, and they end up losing 7-4 to the Minnesota Wild. Just a calamity of defensive mistakes, blunders, turnovers, gaffes, miscues, out of position. Goaltending from Jack Campbell wasn't great in that game, although I don't think it's fair to put it all on him. It was some shoddy efforts in front of him at the defensive end of the ice. That game was a good game for me, too, for props. Bouchard at a big plus price cashes in. Marco Rossi, I took a flyer on him at plus 700 because I said, well, if Kaprizov is struggling right now, who else is going to step up for them? And Rossi has been noticeable in most games, so took a shot with him. Warren Fogle, we had him to score a goal. Vander Kane in that game. Eric Sinek, I mean, that was another really good goal prop game, that Edmonton-Minnesota game, but just awful for the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm seeing some stuff on X from people talking about how this team is, one of the worst teams right now as far as high danger chance save percentage from their goaltenders, Skinner and from Campbell. And, they're 11th in preventing high danger attempts, which isn't good. They're supposed to be one of the best teams in the NHL. And then, that's not what you want to see. But it's in particular, the goaltending is just not making those spectacular saves. And right now, that's what Skinner and Campbell, they've either got to find a way to make some of those saves, or maybe they're just, talent-wise not capable of it. But yeah, that's an issue right now for the Edmonton Oilers. And look, if they couldn't show up last night, first game without McDavid, when's it going to get better for them now? That's the question. And you got to worry about the spot here coming up for both the for the Oilers and the Flames. They play tomorrow night. But keep in mind, that's the last game for both teams before the outdoor game, the Heritage Classic, which takes place on Sunday night, the outdoor game at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. So make sure you're aware of that. So I don't always like betting teams before they play an outdoor game. There's sometimes a little bit of a distraction. Looking forward to the outdoor game Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern at Commonwealth Stadium. But the good news is Calgary and Edmonton are struggling so much right now that I probably wouldn't even want to back them tomorrow night in their games, in spite of that Heritage Classic game looming on Sunday. So, yeah, on just an absolutely dreadful defensive night for Edmonton there. 3-2 Vancouver as they take care of business against Nashville. I had Vancouver, but I also had over 6, and man, they missed like 2-3 wide open empty nets to at least secure a push for me as far as the total. But no less, 3-2 Vancouver. I mentioned Quinn Hughes over 2.5 shots on goal, which was plus 130. It cashed. He didn't have the 4 or the 5 shots on goal he had registered in previous games, but he got to 3. It's all that mattered. And you keep, as long as it's 2.5, especially, you keep betting that. It's just he's shooting the puck a lot more, and they have there's been no adjustment on that player prop, despite that. Rangers 3-1 win against the Calgary Flames. Tough spot for Calgary. They got the first goal and really not much after that. Had trouble generating quality chances. And of course, when you're playing a goaltender like Igor Shesterkin, that's going to make it even tougher. So the Calgary Flames struggles continue. A 3-1 loss to the New York Rangers. LA with a 6-3 win over the Arizona Coyotes. I took a shot with Arizona. I don't feel bad about it. LA probably needed a win on home ice in the worst way, and they finally got one. Good effort from them. And I think LA showed everybody last night what their offense is capable of. They haven't even gotten Kempe going yet. Kopitar's been quiet. What if Byfield finally starts to get going? But Fiala's been great. Trevor Moore, another goal prop involving him last night for me. So the LA Kings definitely got step-up contributions from other players, and a nice 6-3 win over the Arizona Coyotes, and a thrilling conclusion to the night with Philadelphia and Vegas. I did take the draw. That falls short, but I made up for it, and a lot of us did if you were on the betcast last night. John Massey, shout out to him. He took a shot after the second period. Vegas, not only to come back and win, but in regulation at plus 350. A lot of us, myself included, jumped on that. And Vegas does indeed have another one of their patented, and it's become patented, strong third periods on home ice, especially when they're behind or they haven't played great. And we saw it again last night as they erased a 2-1 deficit and beat the Flyers 3-2 last night, including a terrific game-winning goal from Shea Theodore, where he waited for the traffic to form in front of Carter Hart. He couldn't see that puck. Seeing eye shot from the point and great velocity, just wristed it through, got it through the traffic, and it beats a screen Carter Hart for the game-winning goal, and a nice 3-2 win for the still undefeated Vegas Golden Knights off to this incredible start and one of the best starts in recent memory to a season for a defending Stanley Cup champion. So outstanding start to the year for the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, let's get into tonight's one and only game in NHL action. TNT tonight, nationally televised matchup between the struggling Washington Capitals taking on the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey minus 240, home favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. So to me, the decision is very simple. You either find a way maybe to back the Devils here, or you leave the game alone. The problem is it's minus 240. Both teams are on a back-to-back going into this game, which isn't, optimal by any stretch of the imagination. And if you look at it, the travel's a little bit tougher for New Jersey. They're coming they're coming back home, I should say, from Montreal. Meanwhile, you've got Washington. They were at home against Toronto, and they played a little bit earlier. And now they just go back from Washington over to New Jersey. So it's not that big of a travel situation necessarily for them. We'll see how it goes in this game, but and to me, the only thing I would really be interested in here is Devils team total, which is a bet I cashed with last night against Montreal. But the problem is when you look at that potential bet here, you're looking at over 3.5 at minus 160 at Pinnacle. It's juiced. It's really juiced, and you figured it would be. So I don't know if I think it's probably the best option here, but I don't love it at minus 160. I really don't. Going into this game here tonight. And so it's really a game, if anything, I like more props than anything else. New Jersey team total over 3.5 is a lean, but I don't love the number being where it is, minus 160. I might bet it small, but nothing substantial, because to me that price is just a little higher than I would like going into this game. You would think Darcy Kemper for the Washington Capitals played last night. Definitely got outplayed by Joseph Woll, no question about that. He will not play tonight. And in fact, Hunter Shepard is going to be your goaltender tonight for the Washington Capitals. This will be his NHL debut tonight in this game. Now, this is a guy that in the AHL, he's played 47 games over the last 4 seasons, 2.11 goals against average, 920 save percentage. So really good numbers for Hunter Shepard here in the American Hockey League. The last last 4 seasons for the AHL affiliate, the Hershey Bears. But, NHL's different. You can never assume that, your success in the AHL is going to translate to the NHL, especially when your opponent here is a team that can absolutely fill it up and light it up offensively. So very, very interesting to see how he plays tonight in his very first NHL game, national TV to boot, because this is on on TNT this game. So very, very interesting dilemma. And the reason he's called up and starting is Charlie Lindgren has got an upper body injury. Charlie Lindgren, of course, started the season as the backup goalie here in Washington, but he's on IR. So that's what's given Hunter Shepard this opportunity here for the Washington Capitals to get the start. Player props, let's start with Washington. You know, Ovechkin finally scores, and sometimes that's the one. And sometimes when you're struggling, you don't see the puck go in. He got Washington's only goal yesterday against Toronto. Sometimes that can open the floodgates. And really, who else do you have confidence in scoring for this hockey team right now, which is dead last in the NHL in goals per game? Who else do you have confidence in other than Ovi right now? At least Ovi's shooting the puck a lot. And you can tell he's doing everything in his power to try to get that first goal of the season. He had 14 shots on goal last night for the Washington Capitals in that game. So Ovechkin at plus 150, it's not a bad look as far as prop goes in this game. Cuban is mentioning Backstrom's got good success against the New Jersey Devils. And look, Backstrom looked like he had scored a goal yesterday against Toronto, but that was the goal that got disallowed in that game. But plus 425 for him to get a goal prop, that's solid value, I would say. On the New Jersey side of things, Dougie Hamilton, to me, always live, potentially, to find the back of the net and chip in offensively as well. So when you look at the situation here tonight for Dougie Hamilton, I think it's probably a good matchup as well for Dougie going into this game against the Washington Capitals. We know Washington this season, they've definitely had some issues with the penalty kill. Penalty kill has been awful, absolutely disastrous for the Washington Capitals. They have played 5 games this year, and we have seen them give up a power play goal in all 5 games. They have given up 7 power play goals through the first 5 games of the season. So if you're going to look at power play point props tonight for New Jersey in any game, this is one where matchup-wise it makes sense. New Jersey's power play versus Washington's struggling, absolutely atrocious penalty kill. I mean, this is just a matchup made in heaven right now for the New Jersey Devils. They have scored a power play goal in every game this year. They scored 4 power play goals alone against the Islanders. They scored 2 more on the man advantage last night against Montreal, 2 against Florida, 2 against Arizona, 1 against Detroit. So this is a New Jersey Devils power play that on the season has 11 power play goals, and they're going up against a Washington penalty kill that has given up 7 power play goals. I mean, this is definitely, a situation where this could be a big-time power play kind of night once again for the Devils. Matchup-wise, it makes sense. So look at some of these props for Devils players involving their power play points. Dougie Hamilton, plus 330 to get a power play point. Jack Hughes, plus 140 to get a power play point. Jesper Bratt, plus 185 to get a power play point. Tyler Toffoli coming off the hat trick last night, plus 240 to get a power play point in this game. Luke Hughes, you could even check him out for power play point, plus 330 for Luke Hughes to get on the score sheet with a power play point. And those are all the guys on the top unit, by the way, the power play 1 unit for the New Jersey Devils. Heschier's on the number 1 power play unit, plus 265 for him to get a power play point. Why not? You don't get every single day in every single game a matchup that stands out like a sore thumb, where you've got a red hot power play versus a absolutely dismal penalty kill going head to head in the same game. So absolutely, there is great value tonight based on the matchup in all the New Jersey Devils power play point player props tonight in this game. And then don't sleep on the second unit too. Holtz, Palat, Meyer, Mercer. You could even sprinkle a little bit on the power play too. Now, if you're going to pepper the New Jersey power play point props like I might try to do tonight, you'll want to shade a little bit more to the number 1 power play unit props. And the number one power play unit is Heishier, Toffoli, Bratt, Hughes, and Hughes, the law firm. Apparently, I'm a little surprised that Dougie's not on the number one power play unit, that Luke Hughes is on the number one. I just wanted to make sure I've got that correct here. Yeah, it is. It's Hughes that's quarterbacking the number one power play unit. Dougie Hamilton's quarterbacking the second power play unit for New Jersey. So keep that in mind. But you want to put probably a little bit more on the first power play unit, because the first power play unit usually plays a minute to a minute and a half of each 2-minute power play, whereas the second unit will get on for like the last 30 to 45 seconds for the most part. So definitely that's a little friendly piece of advice, if you will, for betting power play point props. The number one unit, unless the number one unit, those players were on the ice for a shift right before the penalty was called, and then in that situation, you'll sometimes see the coach start with the second power play unit, because that group that was on the ice, most of them on the first power play unit that were on the ice for the shift before the penalty occurred, they just need a rest. They just came off a shift, and then you'll put them on after that. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Those Devils power play point props definitely make a lot of sense here tonight in this game. And we'll see if we can capitalize on that. As far as the value-laden situations, for Washington, I'll throw out one more that has great value tonight, and that's Matthew Phillips. As long as he's playing on the top line for the Washington Capitals, and it looks like he's still going to be slotted up on the top line with Dylan Strome and Alex Ovechkin, Matthew Phillips has finishing ability. We've seen it. He's already got a goal this year for Washington. He's been a great scorer at the AHL level, and so plus 600 again on Matthew Phillips, is not a bad price at all as far as player props go for the Washington Capitals in this game tonight, because he's going to definitely get those opportunities as playing on the top line with Ovechkin and Strome in the game tonight. I do want to mention, too, for Washington, it looks like they've still got Nick Dowd as day-to-day, and he is a very underrated, by the way, depth center for the Washington Capitals, so keep that in mind. You look at the Devils here, they've gone over in every game. Every Devils game has gone over the total. So what I'll probably end up doing, tiny bets on the Devils team total, even though I hate the price, over 3.5 minus 160. Very small bet on the over 6.5 as well, minus 125. Because look, New Jersey, every game's gone over the total. And you know what I say with the streaks, whether it's a side streak, a total streak, you ride the streak or you don't play it until proven otherwise. So I will grab a little over 6.5. But like I said, as far as the props go, Ovechkin goal, maybe a sprinkle on Backstrom goal, Matthew Phillips for Washington. And then on the New Jersey side, Jack Hughes to score a goal makes sense, and all those power play point props. And when I talk about the power play point props, I'd probably look at not only the two defensemen, Hughes and Hamilton power play point prop, but I'd look at them goal and assist prop as well. Because they are definitely going to have a chance to factor in on the scoring here. Hamilton plus 410 to score a goal, plus 120 to get an assist. Remember, we hit lightning in a bottle with Luke Hughes against the Islanders last Friday night. I mentioned the goal prop with him in that game. It's plus 700 at Patano tonight for Luke Hughes to find the back of the net. So great value for someone, and he's going to be on that top power play unit, Luke Hughes as well. Plus 700 to get a goal. Plus 330 for a power play point. So there's great value there for some of these players for the New Jersey Devils. There's great value with their power play points props for the two defensemen that are manning the power play, Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton. There's great value as well. So very, very fascinating game here as far as props go. There's only one game, but this, New Jersey power play versus Washington penalty kill, I'll be honest, it has me salivating at these power play point props tonight for the New Jersey Devils, because a lot of them are plus 200, plus 300 type of prices for these Devils power play point props. So it is just a great matchup here where you're talking about one of the best power plays in the NHL versus one of the worst penalty kills right now in the NHL, going head-to-head in this game, which hopefully opens the door for some more plus price prop winners with this one and only standalone NHL game here on this Wednesday night between the Capitals and the Devils. All right, great stuff. We appreciate everyone joining us. Hit the like button. Over 100 live viewers. We've got a much a bigger show, a longer show tomorrow, of course, on Thursday. Another big slate coming up. We've got 11 games tomorrow on the Thursday NHL card, 2 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us for that. I mentioned it earlier. Become a member of the Ice Guys Family Plan, which is the YouTube channel membership subscription, just $9.99 US per month. And again, with that, you're going to see our daily betting card, our player props, our full list of player props, because sometimes with the player props, I've mentioned a lot of what I bet or plan on betting on the show, but on the family plan, you and the Patreon page as well, for that matter, you can check that out. Make sure you don't sleep on the Patreon page as well, patreon.com/iceguys, where you get all our text posts involving power ratings, goalie charts, and other things. And Chris Otto's totals charts are also on the Patreon page. But with the player props, I try to mention as many of them as I've locked in already and plan on locking in on the show. But there's always those late additions where you get the lineup, the final starting lineup for each game, like about 30 minutes or so before puck drop. And sometimes I'll just make a late addition. And oftentimes you'll see that on the Ice Guys Family Plan community tab, where we post the player prop card each day. So we do always make additions closer to puck drop as well. So again, check all that out, all the bonus content. We're going to have a bonus betcast exclusively to Ice Guys YouTube channel, Family Plan members next month in November, as well as December and January as well. This will be a second betcast in addition to the regular monthly betcast, which of course is public to all, free to all. So make sure you check out the Ice Guys Family Plan. We've got exciting news to share with you tomorrow about a new show sponsor. We're looking forward to rolling that out tomorrow on the Thursday edition of the Ice Guys. So make sure you check that out. Chrono Kenny, like we said, thank you for becoming a member. And B-Dubs, thank you very much for becoming a new Ice Guys Family Plan YouTube channel subscriber and member as well. We definitely appreciate the support from everyone, because quite honestly, we can't do the show without you guys. All right, it is time for bargain bin special of the night. Now, we only have one game, so we really can't be too picky here when it comes to the bargain bin special of the night here tonight. We don't have as many games to peruse over as far as that goes. So let me see. This one I have to give some thought to, because with only one game, it's a little bit trickier. Let's do Luke Hughes. Now, Luke Hughes on Friday night against the New York Islanders, he scored a power play goal. And keep in mind, in that game, I did not have him for bargain bin special that night. That was the night I think I had Adam Ruzicka for Calgary last Friday. But I did mention Luke Hughes at a terrific price, a situation where he's manning the top power play unit. He's going to be playing with that number one unit, which is absolutely lethal. When you factor in who's playing on that PP1 for New Jersey: Luke Hughes, his brother Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Tyler Toffoli, Nico Hischier, all on that top unit. And like I said, against the Islanders, we saw Luke Hughes score a power play goal in the second period of that game. This is a player that is getting more and more confidence and playing with more and more confidence, getting better with each game, and gaining the trust of his coaching staff, Lindy Ruff, as well. It's been very good to see. To me, as far as pure value is concerned, you're talking about the quarterback of the number one power play unit for the New Jersey Devils, taking on a Washington team that has been horrid, just wretched, horrendous with the penalty kill this season. So we're going to go for the jugular tonight. Ty Cartier was nice. That's a tough act to follow last night, cashing with Ty Cartier of the Seattle Kraken at plus 600 with my bargain bin special of the night selection. But we're going to try to match that tonight. Luke Hughes plus 700, which is at Betano, the Ontario-based sports book. It's plus 700 there. You can find plus 650 at the Score Bet, plus 650 at Caesars. It's a little bit less than that at BetMGM. DraftKings have it at plus 500. So make sure you shop around. But yeah, we're going to go with Luke Hughes, New Jersey Devils, plus 700 for the bargain bin special of the night. I don't mind Holtz either. Holtz is someone that's a first round pick. He's on the second power play unit, but he finally scored last night He had 2 shots on goal each of the last 2 games. I don't mind that selection either. Alexander Holtz, this is a very skilled player, one of many on this Devils team, and you can get him plus 500, plus 520 to score a goal tonight. So that's one I'll probably actually have on my player prop card as well, Alex Holtz for the New Jersey Devils. And you know what it's like. Start the season, you don't score, and you finally get that first goal like he did last night against Montreal, and suddenly it gives you that confidence, and suddenly the goals start to follow after that. So I like that look indeed from P.O. Degen Stoner in the chat. All right, best bet to wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. For me, the best bet, I mean, it's just a game where I've got a couple of small bets, but we'll go with the Washington, New Jersey over 6.5 minus 125. I know Washington's dead last in the NHL. That worries me about the over in this game, but we are talking about a Devils team that every game has gone over the total for the Devils this year. 5-0 to the over. Every game has reached at least 7 goals on the season for the Devils. Like it, don't love it, but there's only one game on a big card. This would not be best bet, but we've only got the one game. So by default, best bet for me on this Wednesday night slate with Capitals Devils will be over 6.5 minus 125 for my best bet. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the show. We thank everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. And one last time, again, the betcast was just tons of fun, a great group of people. And that's the one thing that's been one of the most enjoyable parts, satisfying parts about doing this show with Alex is that we've really formed a great community. We've really formed great friendships with our viewers and our listeners. Many of them you see and hear on the betcasts each and every month. And that's what we aim for. We aim for trying to help each other make money and profit betting NHL hockey and have a little fun in the process. And because life's too short, you got to have some fun. And we definitely aim to do that here on the Ice Guys show each and every day. So we look forward to 2 more betcasts coming up in November. If you weren't able to join us for last night, no problem. We got many more betcasts on the way. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the lone matchup tonight on TNT between the Washington Capitals and New Jersey Devils. And we'll be back tomorrow on Thursday to talk about the massive Thursday NHL card right here on the Ice Guys.